Welcome back. I, 26 female, have had to deal with a situation I've created for myself that is hard to explain without embarrassing myself. My husband, 28, and I have been together for over 5 years, that is, married. We dated for 4 years before that. We're both from the same small town and sort of grew up in the same circle. We shifted 2 years back to the city because my husband had to relocate for work, but kept on visiting our hometown from time to time. Last Christmas, we were back home to celebrate with our families when I got to know some of my husband's old friends had also come back to town, and he had invited them over for dinner. I was more than happy to serve them. It wasn't until I met my husband's childhood friend with a boyish smile and a charm that swept me off my feet that I thought I needed something more in life. The night of Christmas Eve, we kept stealing glances at each other. I could see how he would check me out whenever I would stand up, and it gave me a weird ego boost. Nothing else happened that night. We had been chatting almost daily since Christmas. Every conversation kept building up to more flirtatious talks, and I found myself craving a sexual relationship. We had plans of staying in our hometown until New Year's, so we threw a big party for New Year's as well, and he was there. It was around a couple hours into the night when everyone had fallen asleep after wishing each other good night. My husband had passed out on the couch when I started striking up a conversation with his friend. One thing led to another, and before we knew it, we were in the attic. My old bedroom giving in to our physical wants. It was almost a post-sex clarity when I stepped out of that room. A certain realization hit me of what I had done, and I couldn't stop sobbing. I thought the better option would have been to come clean to my husband. Once we were back in the city, I did exactly that. The aftermath was devastating. My husband's reaction was explosive, and he had stormed out of the house and hadn't returned for 2 days. When he did return, I heard that he had beaten up his friend and coerced him into saying that he would never lay his eyes on me. Once he had calmed down, he said he was ready to work on our relationship with me, and that left me letting out a sigh of relief. We were going to therapy for 2 months after the incident and working hard to give our relationship another chance. However, I had taken my husband's good nature for granted, and when I received a flirty message from his friend one night, 2 months later when my husband was at a night shift, I couldn't help it. I had engaged in a full-blown sex chat. This time around, however, I decided that what my husband didn't know couldn't hurt him. So I kept quiet and enjoyed both the love and care from my husband and the sex with his friend. Life, on the other hand, had different plans for me. My husband found out about my affair not even a week after it began. This time he was furious, to the point that I was afraid to tell him anything. He asked me to pack my bags and leave right after our confrontation, and I had no other option but to do so. I returned to our hometown and stayed at a motel for a couple of days, hoping he would call me back home. I understand the pain I caused, but I'm struggling to come to terms with the extreme measures he took to kick me out of the house. I then moved into my grandparents' house and could not find it in me to explain what had gone down between the two of us to break a relationship of so many years. My doubts about the respect in our relationship and how that could affect our process of healing left me in a mental state of chaos. I'm not only disappointed in myself for my actions, but do not know how to come to terms with this. If anyone has any advice for someone like me, it would be really useful. Edit. I had wished something would have happened. We did end up exchanging numbers, though. I had convinced my husband that he should meet his friends one last time before leaving. Edit. I was shocked to know he had been keeping tabs on my phone and had seen every conversation with his friend down to the detail. Update. I'm freaking out. My husband sent me our divorce papers this Christmas. It was as if life brought me to a full circle, making me realize where the problems began, and how I was the sole reason behind my own misery. I'm currently staying at my grandmother's while being treated like an outcast, and dealing with the aftermath of my personal life being aired to friends, family, and acquaintances. Our town is small, and so almost everyone has heard the news, and those who haven't have cooked up their own versions of the story. I've seen the way people look at me and whisper, but there's no one but myself that I can blame for my situation. My husband came to visit me once to give me back all my things, and the town broke into a talk. Since then, I haven't seen him again. I wish I wouldn't have done a lot of the things, but most of all, deep down, selfishly, I wish my husband had never found out. Then I would still be living my happy married life with him. Life has thrown me into a hurricane, and I'm trying to find my footing in this chaos. Maybe someday I'll find a way to forgive myself and build something new. But for now, it's one day at a time. Feel free to send me any messages with your opinion about how I should tackle life now. Look, it's clear you made some terrible choices and you're paying the price for it. You cheated on your husband not once but twice, and then decided to continue your affair while he was none the wiser. You betrayed his trust, and it's no wonder he couldn't forgive you. Now you're dealing with the consequences of your actions, and you can't blame anyone but yourself for this mess. As for your small-town gossip, well, that's something you have to face. People will talk, and they'll form their opinions. It's a harsh lesson in understanding the impact of your choices on your own life and the lives of those around you. It's time for some self-reflection and growth. Learn from your mistakes, work on becoming a better person, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a way to move forward from this chaos. But it won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. Story 2. I, 26 female, recently had an affair with someone else and was caught by my boyfriend. I met my boyfriend, 27, almost 2 years ago, and we were moved fast in the beginning. After 2 months, I moved in with him. We were on the path of getting married and starting a family. As relationship goes, he started taking me for granted, and I started to feel lonely. And when I brought the attention to him that I was not happy, he brushed me away. And eventually, I seek attention from someone else, a doctor friend. I was always a distant friend to this doctor I used to work for. With no intention of getting close to him, especially a married man, I finally picked up his call one day, and eventually he started calling me more often, and we started going out to get desserts at night. Because of my profession, we had a lot in common. 2 months passed, I eventually got attached to him. My boyfriend warned me to stay away from him, but I didn't listen. Eventually, I moved out of my boyfriend's house and wanted to be independent. My boyfriend did everything for me then because he realized his mistakes. But I was so blind to see that, and a part of me got greedy. I knew I didn't have a future with this doctor friend. So when I tried to end the friendship with him, he opposed. He would get sad every time I distanced myself from him, and I would feel sympathetic towards him. Long story short, eventually I slept with him a couple times, and my boyfriend found out due to an evidence left at my place. When I saw how hurt he was, I realized how wrong I was, and I completely cut my doctor friend out of my life. My boyfriend is really understanding and is willing to give us a second chance. I'm trying my best to make it up to him, but he would think about what I did to him every now and then and get sad and hurt. It's been about a little less than a month that all of this happened. Please tell me what is the best options for him, us. I really do love him. I really want to erase this mistake of mine and continue where my boyfriend and I left off. I know my boyfriend loves going on Reddit, so I'm seeking advice from strangers who somehow is a part of his life. Edit. I know I'm a terrible person. I gave him the choice to leave and start fresh with someone else or sleep with other girls. But a part of him wants and hope we work out. I'm also doing everything I can to make him happy again. I'm doing everything he wants with no questions asked. A part of me do want him to leave me and be happy again. But I'm also scared what if he break up with me and he be even more unhappy. We had good days and bad days since the incident, but I'm in no position to make the choice here. Update. After the incident, my boyfriend and I had a talk. He said he still loves me and wants to make us work, and then I just have to bear with him when he acts angry, weird, and distant. I promised I'd stay with him until we're good again. We also had an agreement after this incident, and a part of me wanted to leave him, but a part of me don't also. I tried to pack all my stuff, and he said I knew you couldn't take it because us is not what you wanted in the first place. I really don't want to leave him, but when he acts all angry and distant, I'd rather he be happy without me. Right now, after our discussion last night and after reading all your comments, I really just want to find my own place and pack all my stuff and leave. I'm wondering, will I be making a mistake if I do that? Will I be breaking my promise to him to stay by his side? Or should I just stay by his side until this emotional roller coaster's over? Comments. Let's cut out the shit, shall we? You were happy enough to cheat with a married man and only became concerned with your ex-boyfriend's feelings when he caught you out. These are not the actions of somebody who's in love, but of somebody who simply does not want to be alone. If you do harbor any genuine feelings for this guy, then do him the biggest favor of his life and break up with him. It will allow him to properly heal from your betrayal, and will also give you some time alone to work on yourself.